Alrighty. So let's have a look at who he's up against. Okay, he's against the Jace, Jarvan, LeBlanc, Ezreal, Karma. So first thing to note, they have no shields. Sorry, they have no healing. Healing is a big counter to poke. The enemy is also very squishy. The only like quote-unquote tank is J4. J4 doesn't have any sustain either, so it's going to be very hard for him to frontline against the Kaisa poke. On FAKER'S team, he also has a lot of things to play off of, which is really good. So we got Camille, who can hookshot. We got Volibear, who can use his Q to stun people. We got Jin to snipe people with his W. And we also have the Thresh, who can flay, who can use his hook as well. There's a lot of things you can play off of, so you can like ulti in and combo off the CC. Alright, so yeah, this is where I usually stand. But the only reason I stand here is because I want to get the chickens, right? But Faker doesn't know about that. So as always, the chickens, if you want to kill a little raptor, then you need 3 autos and 1 Q. Maybe 4 autos, I can't remember. But you have to kite it really well. You need a lot of practice to do it. So we just see LeBlanc and Kaisa are just autoing the wave. They're just trying to hit level 2 first. Level 1, like, lane state doesn't really matter because you're not against someone like Aurelia or Yasuo who can dash on you level 2 if you push the wave up. LeBlanc can't really do that. LeBlanc can't really like punish the fact that you're pushing, so it's okay. See here, if he took a raptor, he'd be level 2 right now and he'd zone really hard. He'd zone the enemy so hard right now. And then from zoning the enemy from the second wave, then he can slow push and then crash a massive wave on the third wave. And the enemy will probably still be level 1, or maybe they'll probably be level 2, but like a long way from level 3. Regardless, LeBlanc just doesn't respect the fact that Kaisa does damage. So like Halo Blades didn't do anything here. He only ordered once. Electrocute would have been more useful, but it doesn't really matter. Halo Blades has a lower cooldown. Either way, he gets the kill. J4 freezes, so he's just probably gonna stay in lane, which is fine. He's gonna end up with like, what was it? I think it was like 800 gold by the end of this wave. Oh no, he'll be like 850 gold maybe. So you have so many options when you recall with this amount of gold. You can buy tier plus longsword. You can buy Corfield's Warhammer. You can buy double longsword. But I think the tier plus longsword is the best in this situation. LeBlanc has to push the wave in. FAKER'S doesn't want to walk up because he doesn't want to take free damage. He's just letting LeBlanc push the wave in. Nice. He positions himself so that if LeBlanc ever dashes forward, LeBlanc gets hit with the entire isolated Q. That's really important in matchups where champions dashed on you. Like Yasuo, Yone. These champions have to leave their friendly minions and to be able to trade on you. So you can take advantage of that with the isolated Q. He's probably going to slow push this wave. He's probably going to let the next wave stack and then push. It will take too long to push this wave and the next wave will probably come and stop and freeze the wave in front of LeBlanc's tower, which is really bad. Because LeBlanc can set up ganks really easily. Because technically Kaisa is immobile. She has no escapes until level 6, and even at level 6, it isn't really an escape. It's only an escape if you're hugging a wall, so you can jump over the wall. Like I said before, I'm not really going to talk about like general mid lane stuff, like for example, pushing in the wave and then rotating with jungler to a side lane. Like this is just mid lane fundamentals that you can learn in other stuff, other videos. Faker just went for an RW. He went for a nice RW. If Faker wanted to min-max damage here, then his ulti could have been further to the right. So then when he arrives, he can Q and all 6 Q missiles would hit the Jace. But the Jace isn't really tanky, so it's okay. Not a big deal. It's very hard to get used to because when new players play Kaisa, they try to ulti as close to the enemy as possible. But sometimes you have to use the whole circle. Like, keep in mind, you can ulti anywhere in the circle. You don't have to ulti on top of the enemy. I can tell that Faker has tried the RW combos and he's practiced a bit, but he hasn't practiced optimizing the RW combos. Because you'll see this often. He ultis as close to the enemy as possible. So here, he has the finished Manamune, but he doesn't have Q evolution. And I would say here is like where the enemy has a chance of like punishing the fact that you spend a lot of gold on like mana and ability haste instead of other combat stats like attack damage. Because right now, buying the finished Manamune doesn't really do much for Kaisa. Like LeBlanc, if she trades well, or if she plays the matchup well, then she can take advantage of the fact that Kaisa has no ulti right now. If she controls the wave, she can keep the wave in front of the tower, and Kaisa has a very hard time walking up to clear it. Because other champions, like for example right now, right? If Faker's wave was a bit bigger and LeBlanc was able to hold the wave in front of the tower, then Kaisa can't clear it. Some champions like Ahri, Syndra, they can clear the wave from longer range to push the wave in, but Kaisa cannot do that. Kaisa has to walk up. So if I was the enemy jungler right now, I would be getting ready to gank Kaisa right now. Like LeBlanc Wing in and then chaining Kaisa. She's very vulnerable here. Yeah, Faker's respecting that the fact that LeBlanc can just dash. Even though he's letting the wave push though, he still positions in a way to make it that all his Q missiles hit LeBlanc. So that's good. So he got a free trade. LeBlanc just into the trade for no reason. She has to burn a corrupting potion now. Yeah, okay, so this is very important in LeBlanc matchups. If you're not in kill threshold and LeBlanc trades with you by dashing in on top of you, you can actually out-trade her really hard as long as there's no enemy jungler nearby. If you just E into her. Because LeBlanc, the whole reason LeBlanc tries to jump on top of you is so that she can land her chain easily. So you see here, she Qs. I think she Qs. And then she tries to jump on top so that she can land the point blank chain, which is very hard to dodge. So what you do on Kaisa is, well, you have two options. Your first option is you E to get some move speed and you run left so that the minions can tank the chain. Or you run right into her. Like you run directly into LeBlanc so that you minimize the advantage she gets from jumping forward. You minimize the movement difference, right? Because LeBlanc can jump back to her like original spot, right? If Kaisa kites to the left, then LeBlanc can jump back and doesn't get punished. But if Kaisa runs right towards LeBlanc's original location, then even if Kaisa gets chained, LeBlanc loses the trade. So you can see that here, Faker immediately runs right there. And I think LeBlanc panicked here. Yeah, I think LeBlanc panicked for two reasons. She didn't go for the chain, and she immediately jumped back. If I was LeBlanc, I would just run downwards towards the Raptors. Just take the L, you lose the trade, take the L and leave. Do the walk of shame through the river. But she jumped back, so then that gets rid of one of her outplay options. And Faker can just spam autos on the LeBlanc. See, he was still kiting. Look, he keeps kiting left because he wants to avoid the chain from the LeBlanc. And now it's too late. Does LeBlanc not have chain or something? If you ever see a Kaisa charge her W, even though it looks like it's going to hit a minion, she's going to flash. She is going to W flash on you. So either be ready to, if you have low enough ping and good reaction time, you can react to the flash by immediately flashing to the side. Or if you have bad reaction time, then just flash early. Yeah, LeBlanc thought she could just dodge it with the distortion, but it is way too slow. So LeBlanc dies there for absolutely no reason. I think once Faker hits level 9 with 2 longswords, he can get Q evolution. Let's see what he buys. He has 1200 gold. 1200 gold, I would buy Sapphire Crystal plus Pickaxe. Sapphire Crystal plus Pickaxe would give you Q evolution. A Pickaxe would give you Q evolution by itself. Double Longsword plus, what is it? Sapphire Crystal will also give you Q evolution. You have lots of options. So it buys 2. It should be enough. Yep. Nice, he evolve cancels. It looks like he doesn't know how to evolve cancel with his keyboard. But you have to change a keybind on your keyboard to do that, so I guess that's why. So the biggest problem with buying double longsword is the bag's inventory space. Okay, that is a limit test. Limit test. It's all good, Faker. Happens to the best of us. You see here, you see his inventory right now. He can turn his Sapphire Crystal into Lost Chapter, and then he can has one more slot to buy, I don't know, like a Blasting Wand. But if he wants to rush W evolution, he has to sell his longsword. Selling your longsword only loses you around 105 gold, so it's not that big of a deal. But if you went pickaxe, then you wouldn't have the problem. It isn't really a problem. It's more like spending your gold efficiently. See, right now, like roaming without your ulti is very hit and miss. It isn't really worth it. You just want to try to farm for your W evolution. Whenever your ulti is not up, then you have to just stay in lane and farm, or at least roam with your jungler. So here's Q evolution. So with Q evolution, all you have to do is press Q and make it only hit the 3 melees, and it should kill the 3 melees. Oh, nice. Volibear gives him the last 2 tower plates. He's stacking his Mana Mune pretty well. But that's probably because he interacted with the LeBlanc so much early game. Because he stacks twice as fast if you use spells on champions. So he has enough gold for W evolution right now. Now the question is, does he keep his Q evolution? I think he should with Lost Chapter. Lost Chapter gives, what is it, 300 mana? 300 mana equals 7.5 AD. So this is the standard way of getting W evolution if you go Luden second, or if you don't go Nashes. Lost Chapter plus Blasting 1 plus Amptome is 100 AP. The only other way you can do it is if you go Blasting 1 plus Needlessly Large Rod. It's even cheaper. I think it's cheaper by like 500 gold. Let's do a little calculation. With these 3 items, it costs 2,585 gold. But if you were to go Blasting 1 plus Large Rod, it would be 2,100. So you're saving almost 500 gold. The only downside is, since you have Longsword, it's going to be you need like at least 200 mana flow stacks, I think, to be able to keep your Q evolution. That's the only downside. Nice. It's a good thing that he got his W evolve like right now as well, because the next objective that's up is Dragon. If his team wants to go for a Dragon fight, then he has his team fighting evolution, which is his W. It's very difficult to team fight around Dragon if you don't have your W evolution. And to put it in perspective, let's say you have 1,050 gold, right? Let's say you have Lost Chapter and Blasting Wand, and you also have 1,050 gold. You have 2 options there, right? You either finish the Ludens with the 1,050 gold, or you buy an Amplifying Tome or like a Hextech Alternator. See, I would value the W evolution over the finished Mythic, because the W evolution itself is pretty much like a Mythic worth of power. W evolution is so good. I'd rather get the W evolution and hold on to the gold, or just spend the gold on something else that gives me more AP. That's the biggest mistake I've seen people do. They finish the Ludens and they're like, oh shit, I need another Amp Tome for my W evolution. And then, oh shit, wait, there's a team fight. I wish I had my W evolution in this team fight right now. Best case scenario is every time you base, your ulti is on cooldown. So like every time you have ulti, you try to go for like an all-in on a champion. Because at this point in the game, people don't really group up. You can get a lot of picks in the jungle if you have vision, but it looks like they don't really have enemy jungle vision. Kind of went a bit early, but it's okay. Ooh. See, this is what I mean by Faker keeps ulting really close. So he pings he's on the way, but I think Canna doesn't realize that Faker's not in range yet. So over here, he has to wait, like Faker's not quite in range. He'll be in range now. Luckily, Luckily, Jace doesn't really have any like dashes or mobility spells. Let's see where Faker's mouse is. There it is. You see that swipe? He ults so close to the Jace. He ults pretty much right on top of the Jace. But the problem with that is that if Jace moves like one Teemo unit to the left, then it misses. So what I would have done is I would have either ulted back here away from the minions so that my Q is isolated, and then RW backwards, like swipe my mouse downwards like this. Or if I wanted to be safe, and it will be a bit faster as well. If you're in a rush to kill the Jace, then I would have ulted over here close and just RW this way. It's RWing this way is easier than RWing backwards here. There's more room for error if you RW backwards this way. But Faker RWs this way. So how RW works is Kaisa shoots her W towards where your mouse is when you press W. Faker presses R when his mouse is here, so Kaisa would end up here. Faker presses W when his mouse is here. So the Kaisa W will travel towards this cursor. So right now, it's still casting. When it finishes casting, it's going to cast this way, downwards, towards the river. And you see how close he is? All Jace needs to do is just move a tiny bit, and then Faker's W misses. And you can see it here, right? It shoots this way. He's not sure why he ran away. Because he hit the W, so his W is going to come off cooldown. Maybe he was worried about like a lot of enemy players jumping on him. But I mean, he still has flash. Yeah, the J4 running away is pretty sad, but oh well, it happens. Okay, I'm gonna just bring up positioning for just shooting your Kaisa Ws in general. If you're sieging like this, never just stand in lane like this and try to throw it downwards, because the enemy has so much time. Like let's say you're here and you're shooting a W, the enemy has this entire area to see your W and then sidestep it. See, Faker tries to walk out of vision and shoot it through a wall, so by the time Ezreal sees it, it's gonna be like around here. And he has much less time to react. This changes though in a team fight where, let's say in a team fight there's a lot of enemy champions here, then you want to stand parallel to the lane so that you have the highest chance of hitting an enemy, any enemy, just to get your W cooldown refund. So you see he buys Sork Shoes, which is fine in this case because he's the only AP, he's the only magic damage on the team, so the enemy is not going to itemize magic resist. If you had like, I don't know, Xerath ADC, Xerath bot lane, or AP jungle or something, then just buy Ionian boots. I'm not sure why Karma positions this way instead of just standing here, unless she has backup in the bush. But either way, it gives Kaisa a free W. It gives Kaisa a free W, and then Jin can follow it up with his W. And then this is pretty much the freest kill of Kaisa's life. You just W again, right? Doesn't even have to commit ulti to RW because Jin has setup. Like playing with Jin on your team is so fun. I'd rather have Jin over like most other ADCs if I wanted to have the optimal team comp. Well, that RW was a bit late. So right now, like if there's no ward here, then the enemy only sees like the Rift Herald. They don't see Kaisa, I think. So here, Ezreal pressed Q at the same time Kaisa shot the W. So he was stuck in an animation where he wasn't moving. So it's more likely that Kaisa's W is going to hit him now, right? So bam, it hits. 2, 1. And remember, the plasma stacks last 4 seconds. So if you have Sork Shoes instead of Ionian boots, then you have to pretty much RW immediately, otherwise your passive stack will run out. Okay, he RWs pretty fast. I think he was just not far away enough so that his W didn't come out immediately when he landed. So you see here, he landed, but it's still like a few milliseconds of casting. So yeah, Ezreal dies. Nice try. But it's very likely that it's just gonna miss because enemy not only knows where Kaisa is, but they also have vision of the W because the enemy minions are there. So there's no chance that it actually will ever hit J4. Faker is kinda playing with fire here because you know the Blanc just killed the tower. She's around this area. And if she wanted to, I think she could have just hid in a bush and jumped Faker right here. Let's see. Yeah, okay, LeBlanc is still here, and then the enemy knows Fake. The enemy should know, or maybe they're just not keeping track. But Kaisa is very immobile and very squishy without her ulti. So LeBlanc definitely can one-shot Kaisa. LeBlanc has Ludens plus Sork Shoes, and she probably has Ignite. And with Electrocute, this HP, one-shot territory. Or at least burning Faker's Flash. I'm just surprised that she just left. Because it's such a massive wave as well. Where else would Faker go? Well, not really massive, but like, it's a juicy wave, is what I'm saying. I would have gone here to farm it as well. Like, I would have been worried about this bush. Maybe LeBlanc could have faked recall and then walked into the river and jumped over into this tri-bush. It's very scary. That's also why Faker's hugging left side though. If you're ever fighting against the Kaisa, just if you have a minion wave, it's like the opposite of Yasuo, where Yasuo loves fighting when enemy minion waves are there, but Kaisa hates it when enemy minion waves are there. I think he's just farming for his Shadow Flame. He needs, I think 1950. Okay, I would have... He actually had an out here. So LeBlanc goes for the Q, R, and then flash W so that Faker can't flash it. But then here, you see the circle? What I would have done is I would have altered downwards and then flashed the wall. Alter downwards, walk a bit, and then flash this giant wall. But yeah, he dies because of the bad ulti. And soon you're gonna start to see Halo Blades falling off because he doesn't really get time to auto attack much. Usually it's like one auto attack and then EOA or something. The only times he gets Halo Blades off is if he's hiding in a bush, W's someone nearby, and then autos twice or something with Q. Kaisa's extremely good at sieging, or any perk champion is good at sieging. But controlling these narrow corridors is really easy with Kaisa, because the W hitbox is really wide. If you were jostling for position where your team was here, enemy team was here, like, you just spam W's. Or not really through the river, you probably stand behind the wall at an off angle so that it's harder for them to react to. Usually, my W's in this position would be this way, just to check the bush and hit anyone who's in this area, or just straight through the middle here, just to scout. Nice, Threshold's paying attention. The only downside here is Faker has to recall because Kaisa has no sustain. Ravenous Hunter is not enough. Or mid-game at least. So he should be using his W to try to poke right now. There's no more wards here, so he would either try to hit the Ezreal or try to shoot it downwards this way. This is a very, very common direction to shoot your W when you're doing Baron and the enemy's funneling through this area, checkpoint. You'd W this way. It's very likely to hit people if you W this way, along the wall. Not right next to the wall, so you don't want to put your mouse here and waste most of the W hitbox. You want to aim it, you want to, I guess, stand further away so that you can get a clean W parallel to the wall. Oh, he used his W to try to burst Baron. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think that was a waste. Because Wing, having the W on full cooldown, especially when you have Sork Shoes, is very, very bad. Because like the W cooldown is so long when you only have 40 ability haste. Yeah, standing here is perfect because it makes it very hard for them to dodge your W when it does come out. Because it has to shoot through a wall. When you shoot it through a wall, you can't see the W. Vegas team ends up popping off. Yeah, this was just... Faker didn't have enough time to auto-attack the J4 to get the ulti off. I guess Faker thought that he didn't need to flash because he could just auto-attack the J4 and then ulti out of the cage. But he got bursted too fast. Because in the end, Kaisa is very squishy. Oh, enemy surrendered. Okay.